Hey TikTok, thanks for joining us today. Not TikTok, we're live on TikTok over here, but we are also live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn. So wherever you're watching from today, we appreciate you joining us. Let's go ahead and take a look at your big headlines for today. We have a stormy Friday across the southeast. So those storms will set up across our southeasternmost states, and that will include a tornado and a high wind risk. Now we have a few more storms. Other than today, we've got another round of storms on Sunday and Monday. We're calling them the final storms before the feast, because we do think as we look long term here, after those storms on Sunday and Monday, we start to see quiet conditions as we head into the holidays. And Thanksgiving, are we going to have some cold turkeys out there? Well, hopefully you can have a hot meal on the table because it will be a little bit chillier outside. You may need your jacket or some heavy sweaters as we head into the end of next week. Let's go ahead and get started on your full forecast today. Now, I mentioned the risks earlier. Wind and tornado will most likely be the biggest risk. That hail risk today, not very impressive. A very, very low risk to see any hail today across the southern portion of places like Mississippi, Alabama, and Georgia. You can see that we've got a few areas that try to highlight in yellow there. But for the most part, we see a lot of whites on the screen, which means very, very small hail. So we're talking about pennies, nickel, dime size hail. We call this a mixed bag, a pocket change hail. That's what we're expecting today and tomorrow as well. So small hail tomorrow. However, we did see some hail yesterday. So let's go ahead and take a look at your 24-hour storm reports here. There we go. We saw a big wind event across the panhandle of Texas yesterday. Some strong wind speeds absolutely were impressive just from a very skinny line of storms here. We saw some really big severe thunderstorm warnings as well as these storms tracked closer to the Red River. Do you see this right here? This tornado report just outside of Tulsa in Broken Arrow, Oklahoma. This is the first tornado of November. Now, November is known for having several tornadoes, more than December. We've seen several tornado outbreaks before, especially in Oklahoma. This is the first one that we've seen in November, and it took us about, 20 days to get there? Is today the 21 days to get there. Now, this was a very, very weak tornado. The National Weather Service of Tulsa has not come out to say if it is EF unknown or EF0 or EF1. However, I'm sure we'll get more reports from them in the next few days. Let's go ahead and take it down to Texas now. Honestly, the hail down in Texas yesterday was pretty disappointing. It was very, very quiet in Texas yesterday, other than some wind reports and a tornado warning down just outside of San Antonio. Other than that, storms behaved themselves yesterday. But we have another chance on the way, so we've got another chance for storms thanks to this low pressure system that's sitting off the west coast right now. This is going to move into the desert southwest as we head into the weekend, bringing a lot of rain down in places like Arizona and New Mexico. Continuing to track across Colorado on Sunday, bringing some nice snow to the mountaintops. So maybe if you're trying to get out to one of those first ski sessions of the season, you could get out on Sunday or Monday. Then as we continue to see this low pressure system track across the central portion of the U.S., it weakens. And this weakening is going to impact the chance for storms Sunday and Monday. Now, I still think that we could see a chance for storms. I'm not as impressed as what I saw yesterday. The closer and closer we get to this system, the more and more I'm thinking we're definitely going to see some rain, but that storm chance isn't there. We will have a chance for storms on Sunday down in Texas. You've got this low pressure system bringing that lift from the north, and then you've got this surge of warm air and very moist air coming up from the Gulf. That's going to help to create that storm chance right across Oklahoma, Texas, maybe Arkansas, Tennessee, and Kentucky getting in on some of that action. This low pressure system redevelops as we head into the middle of next week, of Thanksgiving week, and that could bring some snow to the northern portion of the U.S. I've got your snow forecast in this forecast, so we'll take a look at that here in just a few minutes. Low chance for hail today. Here's a look at your risk today. That includes Tennessee, Nashville included in this here. We've got portions of Mississippi and Alabama all included in this risk as well. We take a break on Saturday, but our next chance for storms return on Sunday with this next low pressure system moving through the central portion of the U.S. right through the plains. No significant hail expected today. Very, very low chance for large hail. Your maximum hail size, I think the max hail that we could get today will be up to quarter size hail. So most of this will be pocket change hail, what we talked about earlier, nickel, quarter, penny, marble, dime-sized hail. Your tornado forecast, however, tells a different story. Again, we're taking that warm and moist air, and that could potentially cause a few spin-up tornadoes anywhere from Nashville, Birmingham, all the way into Tupelo and Jackson, Mississippi, all included in that level 1 tornado risk here. It's a level 1, so that means isolated tornadoes, not a whole outbreak here. Isolated tornadoes are absolutely possible today. For the most part, these storms will have a hard time producing anything significant, but if you could get an isolated supercell, I do think that one of those could strengthen very quickly and produce a brief tornado. I think that's possible. High wind is also in the forecast today. This is something that we saw in Texas yesterday. We're going to see it again across Tennessee, Mississippi, and Alabama. It's a low risk. It's not going to be a total wind outbreak, but it's absolutely possible to get that severe wind in the southeastern portion of the U.S. There's your chance for storms. We've got a good line setting up later on this evening down in the southern portion of Mississippi and Alabama. Let's zoom down into this area and get a look at your 24-hour forecast here. Here you go, for future radar. A few storms across Jackson, all the way up to Birmingham right now, but then those storms will continue to track to the east, right up by 20 as we head into the afternoon hours. This will continue as we head into the evening as well. Keep an eye on some of these isolated systems up in Tennessee. They may not look impressive, but of course, that storm in Tulsa also didn't look impressive yesterday, and it caused a spin-up tornado. Very, very weak, but still possible. We've got some storms just outside of Houston as well. There's some rain outside of Houston as we head into the overnight hours tonight. So if maybe you have some late plans, you're coming home from dinner, you may need that rain jacket. There you go, and there's your risk for today. Tomorrow, it's pretty quiet, so all of your game day plans, you may have some rain out there, but for the most part, you're not worried about severe weather. You may be worried about those cooler temperatures because after this front moves through the U.S., we are expecting temperatures to dip down just a little bit. Okay, we're not going to see 32 degrees for most of us, but we are going to see some cooler temperatures out there. Let's take a look at your 24-hour rainfall totals. We did have some major flood concerns across central Texas yesterday. Central to the western side of the state, got tons of rain yesterday. All the way down I-35 between Dallas and Austin also got a good amount of rainfall. We saw light rain all the way across Kansas and into St. Louis yesterday as well. A lot of places needed that rain, however, now the ground is soaked, right? You may have walked the dog this morning, walked outside, and you noticed that the ground was saturated. Any more rain, even just a little bit, could cause a flood concern. So today we've got that flood concern out in Southern California, but things change as we head Sunday into Monday because with that next chance for storms also comes another chance for flooding. We've got a level 2 flood risk for Oklahoma City, south of Tulsa, Dallas, and Austin, all included in this level 2 flood risk. Scattered flash flooding is going to be your main concern from storms on Sunday. Monday, this moves to the east, including Houston and that level 1 risk here. And then we've got most of Arkansas and northern Louisiana all included in that level 2 risk. We've also got Memphis, which did receive a lot of rain about 36 hours ago. And Memphis, we've got another round of storms coming for you at the very end of this weekend and early next week. So one more time here, we've got our current system moving out to the east with our next system on the way. This low pressure system will be the next focus area of concern on Sunday and Monday. So what we're talking about here is where does that heat meet the low pressure system? Right across Oklahoma and Texas. So we're watching down in central to southern Texas for that next chance for storms on Sunday. I do think that we'll have another chance for storms across Oklahoma. Now the Storm Prediction Center hasn't pulled the trigger quite yet. We know we have a flooding risk in this area. Could we see stronger storms? I think time will tell, okay? We don't know a ton about this system quite yet, but as we get closer and closer, we'll be updating you on what we expect as we head into the weekend. So make sure that you're following all of our social media platforms. This will continue on Monday. We've got a nice cold low pressure system as we head into Tuesday and Wednesday. This could cause some snow in the northern portion of the U.S. by the middle of next week. So let's actually, there's your Sunday risk. It's a marginal level 1 risk. Let's go to that snow risk here. I know a lot of people are saying, where are we going to get snow on Thanksgiving? We know that it's cooling down, but will we get that winter weather? I think that's a great question. For the most part, we're dry as we head into the weekend. Things start to change late Sunday night as the weekend wraps up. We have a low pressure system setting out over Colorado. What that's going to do is that's going to bring that moisture as we head, what that's going to do is that's going to bring more activity, more wet weather into the central portion of the U.S. So we've got some nice fresh snow across the mountainous areas of Colorado, more storms down into Oklahoma City, Dallas, and then all the way down to the southwestern portion of Texas. This is rain. This is not snow. It's too warm for snow. You go farther up to the north, that's where you get your snow coming into places like Montana. North Dakota looks like the most promising area for snow as we head into the middle of next week, just before Thanksgiving. But look at the rest of the U.S. We are too warm at this point for snow. So before Thanksgiving, I think that most of us are too warm for that winter weather. Don't let these long-term models tell you that you're going to get a winter storm just before Thanksgiving. I've seen that all over social media. The farther out that you go in these models, so we're about 6 days out right now, you can't trust them. Things change day to day. Things change hour by hour. So you cannot trust these long-term models. You could say, here's what could happen, but not here's what will happen. It's very, very tricky. Let's go ahead and talk about snow accumulations. I will show this map, however, I won't show anything crazy here. And then, of course, we'll give it with that caveat that things could change. You guys know that, I hope by now. Here's your snow chances. North Dakota into Montana and South Dakota could see some snow as we head into the middle of next week. I know we've seen those model runs that bring it all the way down to the south. Temperatures in the south are going to be in the 30s and 40s. It doesn't snow whenever it's 40 degrees outside. Moving on here, off of my soapbox and onto the temperatures here. We are talking about temperatures in the 40s as we head into the weekend. So if you're maybe headed to that OU game on Saturday afternoon, temperatures will be starting in the 40s in the morning for tailgating, into the 50s by the start of the game, and maybe, if we're lucky, reaching 60 degrees on Saturday afternoon. For the most part, we'll spend the day in the 50s. That's the same story that we'll tell across most of the U.S. It's cooler, but it's not cold yet. It's just pretty average for this time of the year. We'll continue to see this as we head into early next week, but we do see a brief warm up early next week, and then we'll cool down after that. 64 on Monday afternoon in Oklahoma City. We've got the 60s down in Dallas as well. It looks like we cool down a little bit as we head into the middle and end of next week, as you can see some of those blues moving farther to the south and into the rest of the U.S. Ooh, look at that. 23 up in Bismarck on Thursday, 43 early on Thanksgiving morning. Here in Oklahoma City, we've got 37 as you wake up on Thanksgiving morning in St. Louis, 26 in Chicago. It's a cold morning in Chicago. What is this compared to average? It's about average, if not slightly above average for most of the U.S. So we'll stay a bit warmer than normal, if not just about normal. I told you about that brief cool down. And we're going to stay on the cooler side of things as we head into the end of this month. What we're looking at here is the 26th all the way into the 30th. It's crazy that we're talking about the last day of November now. It does look like temperatures will stay a little bit cooler than average. So maybe average or just a few degrees cooler than that as we head into the end of this month. And we still see our wet weather coming in. I like to see that. Good chance for wetter than average conditions. So that means either snow or rain this time of year. And there's your forecast. Any weather questions before we get off of here today? We appreciate Chipper on here. Hey, HailTrace team. Thanks for joining us. Well, we will have our eye on that Sunday, Monday system through this weekend. Even though this is the last official forecast before that system arrives, we will be watching it, and we'll be posting updates all on our social media pages, so make sure that you're following us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok, and give us a call for a hail, wind, or tornado map. All storms that produced those hazards yesterday are mapped, and they're up to date on our website, so you can head over to our website, HailTrace.com, or give us a call, 855-334-4245, or email us at info@HailTrace.com. Also, check our social medias early next week, because we have some really cool things coming and related to Cyber Week, We have some really cool deals that HailTrace is going to show you, so make sure that you're following us to stay up to date on those deals as we head into this Black Friday, Cyber Week season. All right, thanks for joining us today. We'll see you back here